Hello again. I'm not really a great fan of conspiracy theories, as I've said before. I'll explain a little bit more about this in the video tomorrow as to why I'm saying that. I'm thinking here about things such as the Great Replacement, Kalergi Plan, and so on. I certainly think that something is going on to the detriment of this country, but not because there is some grand overarching plan, either by the Illuminati, the Jews, or anybody else. However, this doesn't really affect what is happening. We're certainly seeing some very undesirable demographic trends, and some new data released recently by the Office for National Statistics, a government agency, shows perfectly what I mean by this. Here are one or two facts. Out of every 100,000 white British people in this country, 963 are likely to die in the next year. Out of every 100,000 people of Pakistani heritage living here, only 834 will die. And out of every 100,000 people of Chinese ancestry, just 612 are likely to die in the next 12 months. Now, we'll leave aside the reasons for this disparity, which probably relate to levels of drinking and smoking, and lifestyle generally. But the fact remains that white British people are dying at a greater rate than ethnic minorities. There is too the matter of birth rates. A third of the babies born in Britain are now born to foreigners, or mothers who were born outside the United Kingdom, as the ONS tactfully puts it. Then too, looking at ethnic minorities in this country, those of black African ancestry, Caribbean heritage, and families whose origins lie in Pakistan and Bangladesh all have higher birth rates than white British families. To put it bluntly, they have more babies. Now, one doesn't need to be a trained statistician to see the implication of these two trends. If one human population in any country has an increased mortality rate and a lower birth rate than other groups, what do you suppose the prospects for this group are as the years turn into decades and then centuries? We have, of course, many examples in the past from which we can draw, say the indigenous inhabitants of Australia. Unless something happens to reverse these current trends dramatically, the outlook is likely to be poor, with this particular ethnic group slowly shrinking and eventually becoming so small as to be irrelevant. Is this the likely prognosis for the white British in this country? If not, what do viewers think will happen to prevent this? By all means, I appeal to people to feel free to point out where I'm going wrong here, if indeed I am.